All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Complexity Casting presentation. I'm your casting host, Beef, bringing you Game 2 in this best-of-3 series for the HoN Tour Gold Cycle 1 Losers Finals between Duel and C1K. Do you even lift going up against Call of Karma? Guys, I got my big exposition and all this stuff, but I got into this game a little bit late as they started instantaneously after that last game. Huge shout out to Chuck64 for getting the blind bans here. Ophelia, Keeper, Legionnaire. Legion. Ophelia and Keeper were banned by Legion, and Keeper Tempest being banned by Hellborn, so neither team wants to see that Keeper the Forest, but we got to keep going here. Lockpick. Bubbles being locked by Frozen Goat, first lock, as well as Gemini and Artesia being locked by the Jellyfish. So what? Okay. Let's keep going. Valkyrie and Dark Lady being banned over here by Duel and Artillery. Hold on a second. I gotta... Is this real luck? Or is this remake or something? Okay. Well, finishing it off there with Artillery. Interesting. So Bubbles and Dark Lady, of course, a couple of heroes that those are pretty standard. Dark Lady, of course, a great hard carry, and Bubbles, a fantastic suicide, picked up a ton of games. The other four, not so much. Valkyrie at one point in time was an extremely competitive pick. We had players like Trixie and Mr. Swish that really loved playing that one. There was another really famous guy that was famous for playing Valkyrie. His name is not coming to me right now, though. But Valkyrie, we have not seen her on the competitive scene for quite a long time at this point. And then Gemini, Artesia, and Artillery? Never. Literally never. I don't know that I've ever seen these heroes. Like, Gemini was banned when he was good. He was auto-banned by teams. Just agreed to ban him because he was overpowered as all hell. Artesia and Artillery, I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen either of those heroes in a competitive game, and there's a very good chance that we'll see one of those two heroes. So I'm excited. Going into the bans now, we do have Draconis, Jereziah, Tundra, Wild Soul, Pebbles, and Fade coming out. So hard carry in the way of Draconis. Tundra and Fade doing the same thing there. They're initiator gankers, providing map control, as well as Pebbles. He's got that initiation potential. Wild Soul, of course, the strong suicide jungler. And Jereziah makes his way in there, being banned once again. A hero that we don't always see banned these days. He just kind of fell off the map, not really taking any buffs or nerfs or anything. Just kind of stopped picking him. But interesting. So this is a real lockpick. I got confirmation, but I'm still a little bit just flabbergasted. First pick comes out, though, and that, of course, is standard. Magnus is coming out for Duel. One of the better initiators in the game. People say that he's a very, very strong hero, and I tend to agree with them. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. Sorry, I'm just having to manage everything from the production side, even though we're 6-minute delayed. Normally, I would do all this while we are in break, but it got started immediately. So Magnus, yeah, of course, that middle lane stunner, very, very strong hero. Not surprised in the least to see him first picked. Glacius Parasite, not surprised about that either. Glacius, of course, one of the stronger supports in the game, and Parasite, with his ability to get in there and get effective ganks from either side of the middle lane, to really control all of the map with those ganks and put the fear into his opponents. I like him quite a bit. Aluna Plague Rider going to come out as the response here from Duel. So picking up their would-be support hero in the form of Aluna and a strong suicide with Plague Rider. I like that. Magnus, Aluna, most likely going to be the mid combination. Going up against Glacius plus something else, perhaps. We'll have to see. Got about 25 seconds left here for Kalbergs. And it's going to be Hammerstorm. So Call Karma picking up Hammerstorm. I know that I watched a game yesterday. I think it was FYKU versus, yeah, it was FYKU versus Duel, and I believe that FYKU actually ran the Hammerstorm, but this time Karma is going to be running that one. I even watched this morning as Domain of Pain ran a Hammerstorm as well. But Karma, we'll see how they run it. Of course, a very versatile hero, able to play that secondary support role, get that strength initiator going on, or even take it into a semi-carry or full carry status, depending on how his farm and itemization does go. So I like the versatility of that hero quite a bit. First pick out of the lock is going to be Dark Lady for Duel. Now that's interesting. Dark Lady in the game number 1 against FYKU and Duel yesterday, that was the only game that Duel was able to win. It was the 700 GPM Dark Lady game. And very, very interesting pickups here. So we do in fact see 2 strange heroes. Finishing out for the other side is going to be Bubbles Artesia. So of course Bubbles does have the possibility of playing that suicide role, but in this game I don't know what he's going to do. I would think he's going to play that suicide, and then Dead Fruit might actually play a solo short or solo mid on the Artesia, with Glacius Hammerstorm being their other lane, and of course Parasite doing his roaming jungle type thing. Back over here on the other side though, we do have the final pick. It is Valkyrie. So that's going to be their somewhat odd choice for the game. Now, Valkyrie, she's probably the least odd out of all those. She does, of course, still have some great abilities. She's got suicide potential. She's got escape mechanism, a strong stun, a strong skill shot stun, a nuke, and, of course, that ultimate is very, very nice for being able to get your teammates out of sticky situations or initiate without your opponents knowing. So I like the hero. One of my favorite heroes to play, actually. So I don't necessarily disagree with it. The problem is that as far as semi-carry type heroes go, she requires a ton of farm. A ton of farm. And with there already being a Dark Lady as well as a Magnus in the game, I don't know where she's going to really find the farm. And so it kind of leads me to believe that she might be played as kind of that number 3 position. Dark Lady number 1 and Magnus number 2. Number 3, so the third most farm, I'm going to be going to that Valkyrie. And with that, and she's never really going to get huge. She'll be able to get a couple of items, maybe something like an Energizer, like we see a Master of Arms played every now and then. Maybe getting a little bit of farm by way of that. Something like a Nullfire Blade, if they choose to pick one of those up for some reason. But it's going to be very interesting. I'll have to keep my eye out on BIP for this one. Give me 1 second, guys, here. Okay. There we go. Just had to make sure that everything was all set on the production side. Once again, got kind of rushed there. Went to go grab a glass of water, and I came back and the game had started. And I'm like, oh, crap. Well, I got to do all this stuff real quick. So I didn't get to quite update everything that I normally do during the break. But fortunately, we do have a pause going on here. So it gives me a moment to get caught back up. Let's go over these teams real quick. Duel starts it out with Frozen Goat on the Plague Rider. Most likely going to be in that suicide position, although he certainly could be babysitting that Dark Lady in maybe the solo short role with Magma Saluna mid and a suicide Valkyrie. That would not surprise me at all. I'm looking at chat a little bit during the pause as you guys are all talking about which Valk player it was. It was actually Yiftig. I remember a time when I was playing in the old in-house league and Yoda was there from EG and Yiftig was in the game. And I was, whenever I was in the in-house leagues, I was there, but I was never a huge name by any means. And I got the Valkyrie that game when Yiftig was there. And Yiftig had just made a huge splash onto the scene. And Yoda, Ori, wanted it really, really badly. And they told me to play it because they just seen me play a really strong game with Torture. And they're like, oh, let Beef play it. And I played it, and Yoda was so mad at me the entire time. And I think I ended up going like 10-1 or something on the Valk, and actually having a really good game. And Yoda was really mad at me. And I kept asking Giftic literally every time, like, what do I level up now? What do I skill now? What do I buy? Because he was a very, very solid Valkyrie player. But, of course, a lot of the players that you guys are listing, very strong Valks. Era, certainly another player that does play Valk. So I like it. I like it. Thank you for reading that off to me, guys. And I hope that you enjoyed that little bit of a story. Blast of the past. I wish I was still good enough to play with the pros, 1850, 1900s. I don't practice. I don't play nearly enough these days. I think my reflexes are too bad as well. But on the other side of things, we do have here for the Hellborn team, oh, we have the HoN Glacius coming out of Kalberg's. So I like this skin quite a bit. It's very, very nice. If you haven't had an opportunity to see it, it's pretty cool looking. Young Glacius before he was turned into the elemental that you see now. Of course, with him in this long lane is going to be Alme on the Hammerstorm. Actually, they're not going to be in the long lane. What am I talking about? They're going to be mid. The Jellyfish will be playing in that suicide role, Dead Fruit, on the Artesia, and Parasite being played by Bananas for the win. So it looks like Valkyrie is actually going to be playing the solo short lane. I do like these lane setups quite a bit now. It's going to be Aluna, Magnus. They're going to be top, most likely. And then it's going to be Dark Lady, Plague Rider mid. So, actually, Hammerstorm might be in a little... Excuse me, Aluna going to be in some trouble here. There, she's going to be going completely down. I am sorry. I missed the beginning of that one. Heard the Hammerstorm stun go off. And Aluna goes down. So Kayao caught a little bit out of position there. Slightly unfortunate. And C1K, they take the lead. Call it karma. Maybe. Kayao is going to drop there. So unfortunate. Did they change out their players again? I can't remember if Kayao was playing in the last game, and I know Duel does have another player. My brain hurts. I gotta stop trying to remember things on stream. Okay, so they did change it up. Aluna is going to be in the middle lane now with Dark Lady, with Plague Rider in the top. I like that more. Plague's Extinguish will be much more useful in the top lane than it would have been in the middle lane. And so now I think that Legion does have great lanes, but giving up that first blood to Kalme in that long lane, which is actually what they ran. So a lot of lane switch ups here. It is going to be Hammerstorm Glacius in the bottom lane. They're going to go up against that Valkyrie. So Valk should actually get decent farm down here, as they're going to be rotating the the Glacius now. Hammerstorm will be soloing against the Valkyrie, but he does have that Iron Shield, so he should be able to get decent farm down here. Once Valk starts getting a couple items, maybe finishes up that Ring of the Teacher, she will be able to provide a lot of harassment toward that Hammerstorm, and they might have to rotate once again. But moving the Glacius into the middle lane, that's not necessarily a bad thing either. I think that they might actually rotate Bubbles down and put Hammerstorm Glacius in the middle lane. But there could be some more rotation coming out here. Artesia, on the other hand, should have a very bad time in this top lane, with Plague Rider consistently pulling the wave back. Once Magnus does hit level 3 and he's able to extend the range on his stun, I think that the consistent harassment of the Plague Rider and the stun coming out of Magnus is simply going to be too much for that Artesia. With no escape mechanism, no stun, I don't think she's going to be able to bear it. Parasite looking like he wants to actually get a gank going here in the middle lane, but not quite able to. Hammerstorm manning up onto Valkyrie as well, as he's doing very well in this bottom lane. Soaking up a lot of damage with that Iron Shield, of course, and has a bit of regen to spare. But if we take a look at the CS, he's 2 and 5, so doing a good job with the denies as opposed to the 3 and 7 of Valkyrie. So Valk winning it up just a little bit there. But of course, that Parasite could very well put an end to the good vibrations of Duel, as he does have the Catman champion. Is looking like he wants to make something happen here in the middle lane. He's going to get attacked, actually, as he now knows that there is a Ward of Sight here. And so he'll be a little bit more careful next time that he tries to gank over there. Hammerstorm is still trying to get his thing done up here. Artesia actually going to man up onto the Plague Rider, and I think Artesia might be able to win that fight. Oh, a nice job, and Artesia will go down, getting killed by neutral creeps. In the middle lane, though, Dark Lady's going to take a fall as Bubbles gets returned kill. Luna gets credit for that one. It's interesting. We had action going on in a couple different locations, but it looked like it was simply Parasite being behind the tower was able to get in there, lands the leech. Bubbles and Glacius drop their nukes as well, and down goes the Dark Lady. Oh, a nice arrow actually going to go out into Hammerstorm there, and I like this. I always get so much crap from my friends and my teammate when I play Valk and I level up arrow first. They're like, oh no, you need to level your Q. I'm like, no, you level your Q if you're going to be fighting against 2 people or if you're going to be trying to push. But if you're leveling up your arrow, that's because it's a more mana efficient spell. It does a ton of damage when it actually hits. As he's going to put the 3rd point into it right here, you'll actually be able to do a ton of damage. But no, he's going to be in some trouble. He doesn't have his leap up, and Valkyrie will die. He's going to try to turn it around onto Hammerstorm, but oh, a nice actual... Oh, he might be able to get away. He might be able to get away. Come on, Valkyrie. Come on, come on, come on, come on. He does get the fog, and a beautiful play there from Bip. And sorry, I got a little bit of fanboy right there, as I like Valkyrie, one of my favorite heroes, like I said. So I've got a little bit of bias, and she's able to actually get the Tree Eaters through and fogs the Parasite a couple of times and is able to get out of there. So great job from Bip. He does it right. Parasite's going to try to cut her off, though. Now Valkyrie might not be so lucky. She does have the leap available. No, she doesn't have the leap available, so she might die. No boots. Thunderblast does miss, and she's trying to fog. I don't know why. I think she could have actually lived there if she hadn't tried to fog. So Bip, damn it. I was so happy for you in that bottom lane, and then you had to go and use your leap when it wasn't necessary. So a little bit of a misplay there for sure. Luna in the middle lane trying to protect the Dark Lady's farm. Bubbles forced to back off and use a mana pot. Parasite and Glacius will be teaming up, though, to try to grab something in the middle lane, as Parasite will be bottling for regen after consuming a couple of those charges. Hands it back to Glacius. Top lane, I'm surprised that the Zartisha has not died more. The first kill was, in fact, to the neutral creeps, as Plague Rider got the nuke off right here and was able to actually tag the newts as well with the nuke. And they aggroed onto that hero. Able to get the kill. Aluna and Dark Lady now making their way over. Want to kill this Catman soldier that's housing a Parasite. Gonna force him around the other direction. A couple auto attacks do come in, and the Emerald Lightning Glacius is there. A nice Thunder Blast onto 4 heroes, and Bubbles goes in. He does not know how many people are there, though, as the power throw comes out, a 4-second arrow to finish him off. Bip gets that one. Magnus going in for a stun up there in the top lane, as he does have Ghost Marchers, so he should be able to run down this Artesian with another stun. Guarantee a kill. That Lava Surge is up, and now, and with that Lava Surge, one more auto attack, and down goes Dead Fruit. He is dead indeed. Magnus looking strong up there. 302 GPM, highest in the game, and not bad, not bad. Following up shortly is Dark Lady. She's in the middle lane with 279. Hammerstorm in the bottom lane, doing relatively well against a Bip on the short lane solo Valkyrie, of course. And he's going to continue farming as long as that lane is vacated. Hasted Glacius comes in. He's actually going to turn around perhaps onto the Plague Rider. The arrow's going to come out 3.5 second arrow. I'm bad with numbers, guys. Like really bad with numbers sometimes. You might sometimes hear me say that's a 7-second arrow and go, what the heck, beef? And it's a 1-second arrow. Who knows? Bubbles will just continue to try to get his farm on in the middle lane. Dark Lady hanging back, utilizing that hatchet as well as Taint Soul to grab as many last hits as he can, not wanting to press up too far. Interesting to note that Dark Lady does go for first item Steam Boots, not going to be going with the Ghost Marchers, and also not choosing to go for something like a Life Tube first. Parasite finishes up his Ghost Marchers, as he's now going to be running into the Valkyrie here relatively shortly. They're actually doing a little bit of back and forth. The arrow goes out, hits the Warlock, and not able to get the kill on that one. If that had been a level 4 arrow, it would have gotten the kill. But she's only level 5, so I don't fault her for not having that maxed out just yet. Artesia continues to have an extremely rough time up here. Call it karma. 100 GPM on your short lane solo. I understand it's up against a Magnus Plague Rider lane. That's going to be very, very difficult, but 100 GPM, 2 deaths, 1 to neutrals, and 1 to that Magnus. Not going to be great. Face Hug going to come in, as well as the Shell Surf Song of the Sea combination. The Leech is there, turning it around onto the Bubbles, though the Kelp Field will be enough to hold him down. Bubbles is going to have to take cover, actually. Does actually prevent the last auto attack from coming in, but now there's an invisible Plague Rider, and Bubbles is going to need to use that Shell Surf to get on out of there, or actually, now he's going to go down. A nice power throw there from Kaio, And the final attack, the nuke from Frozen Goat. Booking gets his hands in the pot as well with a couple hard attacks from the Dark Lady. Hammerstorm picks up Helm of the Victim. So a couple things that he could be going with that. Could be going for something like an Insanitarius, which you'll see every once in a while on a Hammerstorm. Could be picking up a Whispering Helm, or might be going for a Shaman's Headdress. But of the more likely items, I feel like it's going to be Insanitarius or Whispering Helm. Not entirely sure. More action going on up top as Artesia and Bubbles are trying to run down the Plague Rider, and run him down they shall. Well, the TP might go off, and a nice job there. Great reflexes from Plague Rider, able to get that TP off. You can see he cast it so fast he didn't even target the base, didn't double tap it or anything like that, just did that right here. It reminds me of a time on my stream when I was in this location with Nymphora, and Arachna comes in, drops her ult on me, and I just clicked anywhere on the map to try to get out of there. Ended up TPing to directly this spot right here where there was a double stacked camp of Minotaurs, and I cried myself to sleep. Magnus goes in with the Eruption Lava Surge not even needed, and down goes Artesia. Deadfruit takes his third death of the game, and Magnus extends his GPM up to 340. I tell you guys, when I teleported down here and almost died at like 2 HP to Minotaurs, I screamed like a little girl. You can actually see that highlight over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/beefpoppie1. It is highlighted over there, of course. Hammerstorm taking a little bit of harassment from the Plague Rider, but level 5 Plague, not really too much of a problem. Hammerstorm actually turns his boots to Steam Boots Int, and will try to go back in for another kill onto the Plague Rider. If he lands the stun, activates Galvanize, and then hits the Brute Strength, he should be able to just need one more auto attack to finish the Plague Rider off. But with the assistance of the Aluna coming in, or excuse me, the Valkyrie coming in, not going to choose to do that. Just kidding. Hammerstorm does actually grab that one. The hammer throw actually was successful. The Valk arrow does miss, though. Artesia's in some trouble. The red Emerald Lightning is going to come out, and Magnus comes in with the body blocks. The last auto attack to finish him off. Casual is 3-0-0. Artesia continuing to have a bad day. Parasite's going to try to come in here and turn it around. The face hug as well as the leech could be coming out. Will Bubbles have the follow-up, though? The kelp field is already there. And will they finish it off? No, it looks like they're going to back off. Did not want to commit fully to that. I think that another Shell Surf Song of the Sea might have done it, but not going to be perfect. So did back off, and I think that they might have overextended if they had gone for the final kill onto that Dark Lady. Glacier is trying to get his farm down here. I know this feeling well. Saying, guys, I just want to get my boots. Give me like 2 last hits. I don't want to die, please. Because I do believe that he just bought something, so it very well might have been his boots. Going to try to last hit off the tower, but not quite able to. Glacius attack animation, not necessarily the best, and his attack damage with his support being only 2 minor totems rich. Having a hard time. Not as hard of a time as Deadfruit, though. I can't stress enough how poor of a pick I feel like this Artesia was. I don't know if they've run this hero before with some success. I don't know what their thought process was going with this hero. All I know is that she's having a very, very bad time in this game, as Frozen Goat actually does fall to Banana for the win, as well as Deadfruit. So Artesia, great job getting the kill there, and Glacius falls in the bottom lane as well, as Dark Lady activates that charging strikes as well as Dark Blades. That one happened very quickly to team up with Magnus and actually pick that one up. Bottom tower is now in a little bit of trouble. It's going to be pressured down here by Magnus, Dark Lady, and Luna, and there's no ports coming in just yet. We'll see if the Hellborn team tries to activate the Glyph of Fortification and perhaps port down there simultaneously. One port comes into the second tier tower. That will be Bubbles, who's picked up a Gloves of the Swift, making his way towards a Hand of Midas, of course, a #1 farming item for Bubbles. Okay, ports are going to come in now. Shell Surf is in. Oh, Magnus is in position, though. He's got the big eruption off. Grabs the Lava Surge onto Hammerstorm as well. The the essence projection is down though, and Artesia doing a little bit of counterattack damage. Down goes Dark Lady. Magnus might be short to follow as the Shell Surf's going to come in. The Lava Surge back onto that player, catching Parasite out of position, and Magnus trying to get out of there with a TP, but the Tundra Blast will clean it up. Hammerstorm's now in position to maybe get another stun onto one of these players behind the tower, but no, it looks like Aluna's going to be too well dug in. Is she going to use that teleport to get on out of there? I think that if she sees them coming in, she'll use the teleport. Otherwise, she might try to get the deny and then teleport out, and almost gets that deny. Then she's going to teleport right on out to safety. So a nice attempt with that. A little risky, but the chances of her being caught out at that point were very low. Artesia takes a Taint Soul in the top lane. And has to back off because it did like 80% of her life, because Artesia's a not very good hero. I'm sorry if I feel if I sound condescending toward this Artesia pick or something, but I just don't understand it. Maybe they have some success in the past. Maybe there's some kind of merit to this hero that I just don't understand, but she's a hero without a stun, without an escape mechanism, without incredible amounts of burst damage. She's low on life. She doesn't provide any initiation or lockdown capabilities. She has some global presence. That's great, but it's on a relatively long cooldown. And she just feels like to do her damage, she has to kind of stand still like an artillery. And during that time, she's extremely vulnerable, which kind of leads us to her being 1-4-3 in this game. 4 kills, not able to get the last hits that she needed in lane. Only 157 gold per minute at this point, as we are in another pause. So hopefully this one gets sorted out relatively soon. It'll give us a little bit of time to go over a few items here. 15 minutes into the game. Interesting to note, this game's kind of a poor game. Not necessarily saying it's a bad game, that's not what I'm trying to say, but everyone's poor in it. You see a lot of people in the 100 GPM range, a couple in the 200, and only one person above 300 gold per minute right now at 14 minutes into this game. Reason for this being, there hasn't been a whole lot of tower pushing. We actually only see one tower dead in the entire game, and it's going to be this one, perhaps lending the 3,000 gold lead to the Hellborn team. Call It Karma, looking good. They did, of course, take game 1 in the series, so if they're able to take this one, they will be advancing into the grand finals to face off against FYKU, and they're taking it seriously with their Artesia. No, they're not taking it seriously. Why do they have Artesia? I don't get it. Speaking of getting it, there's a portal key here on Hammerstorm in addition to his Helm of the Victim, so that's going to be what he chooses to pick up. I like having the initiation potential there on the Hammerstorm. Once they're able to get something on the Bubbles as well, that will be very, very nice. Bubbles about 1,700 gold off of his portal key, so not going to be getting that one anytime soon. Oh, Chuck. The BM. The BM. So BM. But getting back into this over here. Magnus, he's sitting on his phase boots as well as a Grave Locket and a power supply. So he will be making his way toward that portal key as well, sitting at that 800 gold saved up. Give it about another 1,300. And he'll have the power supply in his pocket and able to get the next initiations off. But he's shown us multiple times throughout this game that he does not necessarily need a portal key in order to get those initiations off. He's been getting himself dug into those towers. He's been getting the eruptions off and then using the lava surge. So great job from Casualist thus far. Of course, playing a very strong Pebbles in some previous games. And looking good here on Magnus. I like how he's been playing. Dark Lady picks up the Life Tube in addition to her tanky items, the Mystic Vestments, as well as the Steam Boot set to strength. Wants to make sure that she's not taking too much damage from the magic-heavy enemy team. Parasite finishes up his Ghost Marches as well as a charged Grave Locket, a Blood Chalice, and Ghost March, or excuse me, Mystic Vestments. Already said Ghost Marchers. With that, he's very mobile and able to self-sustain pretty damned well. Even got a little bit of tanky presence as he is at 1,100 life with that Mystic Vestments. So able to take quite a bit of damage. And right now he's level 9, 3-0 and 3. Banana for the win, certainly doing some work in this game. 991 gold banked up at this point, so could be making his way toward something like a Codex, Blink, or possibly even a Hellflower. We'll have to see. Bubbles, we already talked about him. He's sitting on those steam boots with a couple minor totems and the bottle. He's making his way toward that Blink Dagger, the portal key, eventually, but not too soon. I think they are just about ready to go, and that's a good thing because I was all out of heroes to talk about their items, so I appreciate that. Hammerstorm, when he does finish up something with that Helm of the Victim, I don't know what it's going to be. The item itself is actually very nice as they do spot out this Magnus. Will the blink come up? They will land the stun way out there, and in comes the Shell Serve, trying to see if they can spot somebody else out that they could have picked up, trying to back up the Magnus, but not doing so just yet. Sorry about that, guys. Had to check one thing really quickly. Alright, so Hellborn team going to be teaming up here in the middle lane, trying to get something done on this tower, trying to make it 2 instead of 1 towers that have been killed thus far, and extend their gold and experience advantage even further. Currently at 3,000 gold and 3,700 experience. Magnus, once again, off, dug into the side, wants to get that eruption off. Oh, Hammerstorm's going to initiate, though, and Magnus will channel that off. The Kelpfield stuns that one, but down goes Plague Rider, dying without actually getting an effective Plague Ultimate off. Artesia took the counter kill, though, and the Hellborn team will be able to push down that tower. A Lava Surge and an auto attack should finish off Bubbles, and down he goes. Karlbergs is actually backing off here on the Glacius. He and Hammerstorm are both very low on life. One more stun could have finished off Glacius. It would have taken a little bit more to finish off the Hammerstorm, but a 2-for-1 trade for Duel. They do end up losing their tower, though, in the middle lane. So in the end, they gain back in terms of experience, but the gold lead is extended by Call It Karma. Parasite trying to get his farm down here, consuming that Ballista, and then we'll get back to it. Magnus, after that team fight's only about 800 gold off of the portal key, and so that's going to be nice for him. Once he's able to get that initiation tool, I feel like Duel might actually be in a much better position than they are right now, being able to get the proper initiations off rather than being consistently initiated on by the Bubbles or the Hammerstorm. I think they'll be able to take some better team fights in. I really do feel like Duel has the much better late game here with the Dark Lady. I think that the longer that this game goes without them being so far behind, then I think Duel would be in a much better position. And of course, Booking has shown in the past that he is a very capable Rice-type player. Valkyrie finishes up her Steam Boots now in conjunction with the Ring of the Teacher and the Powers of Play. She's going to have the items that she needs to be farming here. Top lane going to be pressured down by the Hellborn, and they will in fact take that one down. I'm going to trade it out for the middle tower, though, as the Legion team trades 1 for 1. Drops a ward as soon as that tower is gone. I like this ward right here quite a bit myself. Able to give you a lot of vision right across the river in case someone's farming up here on the top of the hill. Lets you know if there's anybody behind them or if you can initiate right away. So I like that ward quite a bit. Magnus picks up his portal key in town, as that will be picked up by him. There it is. And with level 11, Casualist has the possibility to set up some very large ultimates and Lava Surge combinations in the near future. Dark Lady now has enough mana to pick up her mana tube as well, finishing off the Sustainer on her way toward that Runed Cleaver. Artesia continuing to do a little bit of work, sending out that spell. Let's actually learn these names right now. That's what I'm going to do. Arcane Missile, Dance of Death. I literally have never heard that before. Arcane Bolts, and Essence Projection. So I knew the Essence Projection one. And Arcane Missile, Dance of Death. And what was the other one? Arcane Bolts? Yes. Okay. So whenever you see these new heroes, guys, you have to bear with me as I learn their names. I'm trying to get all the Dota names out of my head. I've been calling things Dota names for a very long time, even though I'm playing HoN. Magnus goes in with a Lava Surge, and will have another one up in 3 seconds. Actually going to turn it around here as Parasite comes in onto the Plague Rider. In comes the Magnus as well. He's going to turn it around with a huge eruption. Down goes Plague Rider as well as Valkyrie. Now they're going to try to finish it off. Parasite comes in, a nice Steam Bath disjoint from the Magnus. Luna might be in a little bit of trouble. Actually, a good Emerald Lightning, and Magnus will have to back on out. Another Steam Bath, but not going to be in time. Magnus does fall, as Call It Karma gets 3 kills, just losing their Glacius. So great job in that team fight. It all started with the Parasite really initiating onto the Plague Rider, getting in behind the enemy team, and then Bubbles was just able to turn it around with a nice Kelp Field, Shelf Surf, Song of the Sea combination. And they opened it up quite nicely. Duel falling further and further behind. 5,000 gold and experience advantage, even having their resources manhandled here, as the double stacked Ancient Camp does fall toward for that Hammerstorm, who does have Mighty Swing level 4 leveled up now. Dark Lady still trying to get toward that Rune Cleaver. It's really unfortunate here for Duel. When you see the big games coming out, you typically have someone who is farming just by themselves, completely unobstructed, finishing something like Red Boots and a Rune Cleaver at like 10 minutes into the game, 11 minutes into the game, or Steam Boots plus Rune Cleaver at like 12 or 14 minutes in. But we're going on to 21 minutes right now, and the first broadsword is not even picked up by Dark Lady. She's struggling. 291 GPM. She is the highest on her team, but having only pushed 1 tower and having a second denied, not having the greatest of starts in her lane, the middle lane, she's fallen quite far behind, and she needs to have that snowballing farm in order to remain super, super strong into the late. She needs to be able to get those items, and so far has not been able to. On the other side of things, Hammerstorm currently at 360 gold per minute, tied up with Parasite for that #1 slot on the Hellborn team. Is looking quite strong. Finishes up the Portal Key as well as the Whispering Helm that he grabs, able to use that to dominate a minion. You can see Almay's Cat Champion following him around right there. And he picks up a Mighty Blade, so going to be working on the Shrunken Head that will, of course, be very, very useful in any upcoming team fights to prevent stuns or magic damage from coming out from the Legion team. A little bit of counter warding here as Plague Rider does eliminate some of the vision that is present for the Legion team. Lots and lots of counter wards down from both teams though, and Hammerstorm continues to just wail away onto Kongor. It's interesting that he has his Steam Boots on agility. Actually, Hammerstorm might be in a little bit of trouble there. He is forced to Portal Key on out of there, and the Hellborn team will have to back up. Potions already being used by Hammerstorm as 1 Arcane Missile. You like that? I called it the right name. Arcane Missile does come out from Artesia, trying to clear the way for the team to actually remain safe. Almay will back up, so that 1 health potion was just to make sure that he did not get red sniped down or anything along those lines. Now the nice news here for Duel is that I was wrong. The broadswords were somehow already finished up by Dark Lady. She had, I guess, had them in her bank, been saving up a couple of those items. She did finish her Sustainer, and then about 2 minutes later finished the Runed Cleaver. So a great job there finishing that one up. I guess she was banking them. But a 21-minute Rune Cleaver is certainly much better than, say, a 24 or 25-minute Rune Cleaver, as every minute that Dark Lady will be farming more and more neutrals, farming more and more jungle creeps, and just continuing to get the farm that she needs in order to carry herself into the late game. Bubbles is about to walk by a Rev Ward that actually did expire. So not too much to fear. Kongor will go down here in a moment, but actually looks like there's going to be a contest as Artesia drops down that Essence Protection. Going to start focusing down that Luna, and down she goes. The Eruption comes in as well with the Lava Surge, and Artesia in some trouble now. The arrow doesn't hit onto Glacius. The Kelp Field comes out, catching only Magnus. Down goes Plague Rider, the Parasite, using everything that she has. The Hammer Storm does actually drop the Hammer Throw right before he dies. The Token of Life will bring him right back, though. And with auto attacks, down goes Dark Lady. The juice is loose as a serial killer streak now comes out for Hammerstorm. Almay looking great at 3-0-3. Valkyrie makes her way out right there, and will she be able to somehow escape in the middle of all this? Her leap is available, but it looks like she might be able to. Hammer throw goes off, but a nice disjoint there. Valkyrie is able to make her way on out as Plague-Rider and Luna resurrect, and Luna teleports into the lane trying to cover her buddy's escape. Bubbles is actually working on that portal key still. He did not die in that team fight, I don't believe. No, he was able to live. And so with the additional money from Kongor and assists on a couple of kills there, he was able to pick up more money, and now only about 150 gold away from finishing up that portal key. Hammerstorm continues to get his farm on, now 1,800 gold, about 1,200 gold away from finishing up his Shrunken Head. And so here we go. Like I said, the Valkyrie, she's going to play that number 3 role on the team. Going to fall in just behind the Magnus in terms of farm and pick up a couple of nice supporting items. Items that are going to give her team a little bit more mobility or a little bit more sustain. In this case, the Energizer that I was talking about. She's playing the same role that you'll often see a second support Master of Arms play. I need to make sure real quick, guys, that my internet is still working. It looks like it's lost connection to Twitch, and my internet is still here, of course. But for some reason, it's no longer broadcasting to Twitch. It should be okay now. Sorry, guys. I want to say that it's Twitch, but I don't know. Actually, Eruption as well as the Lava Surge going to come in here onto Bubbles. And the Lava Surge is not used just yet. And they're going to actually turn it around onto Magnus. Magnus will fall to the Glacial Blast. Luna falls as well, so it's a 2-for-1 exchange. Portal Key's coming in, though. The Portal Key from Parasite being shown right there. Hammerstorm wants to land the Hammer Throw and finish it off, but not quite able to. So Bubbles trades his life for a Luna plus Magnus. I'd say that's worth it in his book any day. It's unfortunate there for Magnus that there was a nice Song of the Sea, and he didn't use that Lava Surge quite in time. A 5-second arrow going to land on Hammerstorm, and if they're able to get people in time, might have been able to finish him off, but instead, Kallenbergs will in fact pick up the last hit. Tableau Commando finished up on Artesia, and she's certainly having a better time than she was earlier in this game. 232 GPM and starting to climb. Of course, being ahead by nearly 10,000 gold now in the game will help out quite a bit. Hammerstrom continues to steal the opposing team's Ancients as he finishes up his Shrunken Head. Now he's going to be able to initiate in those team fights and get in there without fear of actually dying at all. Kalberg's hits level 11 based on the kills that he's been involved in the middle lane. Got solo experience for 2 of those kills. Not bad, picking up the level 13 Magnus. Able to propel himself up to level 11, which is quite nice. Gets that level 2 Glacial Downpour that does so much more damage than the first level. Parasite kind of hanging off toward the side. He's got that portal key, able to initiate if he wants to. Magnus will actually blink into the side over here. I think that they might have seen that with the Bubbles Shell Surf, but an arrow is actually going to fly out and not connect with anyone just yet. As both these teams do continue to posture, they want to make something happen, but neither one wants to make the first move and get caught out of position. Oh, Parasite is going to be caught out of position a little bit as he initiates using the face hug onto Plague-Rider. In comes the Hammer Throw, and he will be going down, but so will some other players. Magnus comes in with the Eruption. Another TP going to be coming in as Dark Lady joins the fight. She's going to absolutely demolish the Glacius and the Artesia in the back there. Luna is trying to get away from the Hammer Storm as well, but no, the Hammer Throw comes out. The portal key in from Bubbles, and down goes my internet. Are you joking me? Okay. Let's get reconnected. Okay, guys, I'm not sure where the VOD did cut out there, but my internet did just hiccup. I think my roommate got home and slammed the door and the modem restarted. It happens every once in a while, and I need to talk to him about that, because it seems like every time he gets home, the internet cuts out for just a brief second. But unfortunate there, guys. I'm not sure if you did catch the end of that team fight. There was another big team fight in favor of Call It Karma. Oh, man, that just killed the momentum there, but very, very strong. Magnus got a great counter initiation off for Duel, but the majority of the players were focused down for Duel, and Hammerstorm, as well as Parasite and Bubbles, were able to clean up most of the supporting cast. I believe that Dark Lady did get one counter kill, and she might have died herself. But I'm not sure, as my internet did cut out, so I missed some of that too. Using that rune cleaver to try to cut her way through some trees as she's trying to keep that farm going, but Duel down by 10,000 gold and 10,000 experience at this point. Looking very, very rough. Hammerstorm with the portal key, Shrunken Head, and Whispering Helm is looking extremely buff as he even picks up a Warp Cleft now. And that's going to be very, very nice to have. Might be making that into, say, a Demonic at some point. I don't know that he's picked up the Soul's Bulwark just yet, as he will vendor his power supply and picks up that Warp Cleft. So 55 additional attack speed. Going to be raining down blows onto the rest of the team. Make sure that my delay server is still working here. It should be. There we go. There we go. All right, so let's get back into this then. Take stock of everything. Dark Lady still continuing to try to get her farm on 350 GPM with the Rune Cleaver, Abyssal Skull, and now a Mighty Blade. She's going to be working toward that Shrunken Head. Now 1,300 gold off as she picks up the Warhammer. Magma's still just sitting on that portal key. He's gotten some nice initiations off, and really, I would say he's the only thing keeping his team in the game at this point. Casualist doing great, but Bubbles comes in with that portal key. He drops the kelp field, and he's going to be able to pick up 2 with that one. Dark Lady perhaps in some trouble. The Hammerstorm Sun is going to come out, as well as the Essence Projection, casting those Arcane Bolts. And one more auto attack. Looks like that Death Bolt is going to bring him down to 40 HP, but will he be able to get out of there? Bubbles has the Shell Surf up, as well as the portal key, but doesn't choose to use it, and Dark Lady will be able to use her second charging strikes and get on out of there. A nice job of using that cover of darkness to be able to get out of there. Fogs all of the enemy team and uses that to buy her escape. Jellyfish on the Bubbles. We've seen him use that portal key a couple of times so far in this game. He's also picked up a Neophyte's book, so could very well be making his way toward a Storm Spirit. A great item to have in a ton of situations. A lot of movement speed, as well as mana regeneration, and of course that Storm Spirit effect that will lift somebody up on into the air for a limited amount of time, 2 seconds to be exact. Use it offensively or defensively. A great item to have. Artesia picks up a Mighty Blade, so might be making her way toward a Shrunken Head herself, as well as Valkyrie picking up a Slayer. So working on an item to give her a little bit of damage, as right now she's only hitting for 140 Savage Mace. If she chooses to pick one up eventually, would be very, very nice to increase that damage. And having a second source of damage other than the Dark Lady for sustain would be very nice for the Legion team, should they be able to hold off any additional pushes. Of course, there wasn't a whole lot of push going on in that fight. They did apply a little bit of pressure, just a couple auto attacks in the middle lane at the end of the team fight, it looks like. But they did not successfully push down this tower at all. Dark Lady, or excuse me, Valkyrie goes in, as she's going to be in some trouble. The Hellflower comes out, as well as the Face Hug Leech. The Shell Surf comes in, and Bubbles, as well as Parasite, will pick up the kill there. Parasite, of course, showing off the Hellflower. I am not sure. I'm hoping that everybody is seeing this right now, but from what I'm reading, Maybe the stream's not working right now. Who knows? I'm just going to keep casting, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to be calling my ISP tonight to have a nighttime technician come out and take a look. Because every time that my ISP technician comes out, they're like, oh, no, your internet's fine. It doesn't drop, ever. And they won't do anything about it unless they actually see the internet drop. It's very, very irritating, and it's a monopoly on the internet in this location, so I don't get to change my ISP either. Otherwise, I would have done that years ago, because sometimes my ISP can be pretty bad, especially a lot of rain like we've been having recently. Hellborn team going in for the second Kongor kill of the game. The Warp Cleft, of course, providing a lot of additional damage for Kongor, but he's being stunned down pretty effectively. Gonna need to burn him down very soon here. Once again, Hammerstorm is getting relatively low. An arrow going to be going in as it does catch Artesia. Hammerstorm will pick up that token, though, and he'll be able to blink on out of there whenever he so chooses to do so. So he's going to go get his regen on, finish up that demonic breastplate in about 500 more gold. And that'll be very nice for team fights. Well, just kidding. Hammerstorm finished up his demonic there. He must have had a one of those chainmails in the bank. Dark Lady finishes up her shrunken head as well. So come the next team fights, going to be very nice. Magnus actually picks up a bloodstone, sacrificial stone. That's what they renamed it to. Interesting. Now, of course, this item is one of the newer ones into the game. Provides a little bit of stats as well as some great armor. Alright, you guys able to see stream. I need to make sure that everybody is seeing this so I don't have to restart everything. Okay. Looks like we're good. So now I can focus back up on this game. Sorry, I've been a little bit distracted after the internet disconnect. It always pisses me off when my internet drops, especially when I'm casting, because I know it's very inconvenient to you guys as well as to the players, and well, it makes it a lot harder for the VODs as well. Kahlberg's still trying to get his warding thing done. He will be dropping a ward up here on the high ground at nearly the exact same time as the other team. No, they're actually going to be stacking. And if Dark Lady goes in to try to clear up the stack here in a moment, which I suspect she will do, she's going to find herself in a ton of trouble because Parasite's going to jump down there, activate the Hellflower. Pulp Bubbles is going to go in, and yeah, they're going to be in a ton of trouble right here. In comes the Hellflower, the Face Hug, and the Leech. Bubbles comes in with the Shell Surf, Song of the Sea combination. Plague Rider not quite able to get off his Plague Carrier. Top lane, the tower does go down, as well as the tower here in the bottom. And now with Dark Lady, Aluna down. Hammerstorm even grabs the kill onto the Aluna down in this location as they took down the tower. And there goes the Glyph of Fortification. Actually, an Eruption Lava Surge going to come in, hitting 4 or 5 players, doing a ton of damage, but Magnus is in some trouble. The arrow does hit the Hammerstorm, but it's not going to matter. Dark Lady buys back and comes back in, activating that Shrunken Head, trying to get to work on the Hammerstorm, but she will not even be able to clear out the Aegis. Now, Magnus, on the other hand, he will be able to clear that one out. The Glacius is going to fall as well. Energizer being activated. Valkyrie in some trouble. Another buyback coming in by way of Magnus. I guess that was only 2 buybacks then. Artesia is able to teleport on out of there. Down goes Parasite, so able to clean that one up, and they're able to grab the Bound Eye that he was carrying. So that's nice, but losing their base tower and lost a few players, forced to buy back twice there as well. The Golden Experience differential now 15,000, 14,000 in favor of the Hellborn team. And that's even more so than it shows, as those buybacks don't quite get represented in that very well, but going to be very, very strong here. As Hammerstorm continues to get buffed, 2,700 gold saved up. He doesn't have that Token of Life anymore, but should he choose to build another item very soon, going to be extremely, extremely hard hitting. Maybe something like a Brutalizer. A lot of players do choose to go with that one. LOL being called out, and I don't exactly know why. Shrunken Head on Artesia now. So lots of shrunken heads coming out. The Storm Spirit, of course, is finished. Hammerstorm blinks in and wants to get something going, but is going to be forced back. The Song of the Sea going to come in, as well as the Kelp Field, and Magnus going to be forced to Steam Bath on out of there. The Plague is going to be bouncing around, comes back in with the Lava Surge. They're trying to run him down. The Shell Surf will catch him, and with the Valkyrie Ultimate expiring now, they are going to try to go back on that Magnus, but no, they're going to back off. They want to get on the Dark Lady. The Hellfire has been applied. 1.5 second arrow onto Artesia now. Dark Lady charging strikes back through, trying to get something to happen. Looks like Magnus is going to man up on the Hammerstorm as well. The red Emerald Lightning is going to go out, but Aluna will fall shortly thereafter. Magnus channeling up his ultimate. He's going to be able to hit the bubbles, but really not a lot of anybody else. Parasite, one more auto attack, and he might go down. He will, in fact, as the Parasite drops a Bound Eye once again. Dark Lady trying to get on out of there. Will they be able to catch her? No, it doesn't look like it. So that was not a bad team fight for Duel, to be honest. They lost Aluna and they lost Plague Rider. They were able to keep all three of their carry, semi-carry initiators up, and they were able to take out a couple of players. So a great trade for them in that respect. They got the Bound Eye once again, although it was transferred to Hammerstorm now that I think about it. But not bad. Those are the kind of fights that are going to help if they try to take this into the later game. Artesia, as much crap as I gave Deadfruit for playing this Artesia, he's actually done decently well. 4, 7, and 14, 250 gold per minute. Keeping his farm going, has that shrunken head, so he's able to be useful in the middle of those team fights, and he's doing work. The global ultimate has been very nice, and he's able to put out a decent amount of damage and even providing that slow for his team. So I still don't agree with the pick, but they've made it work somehow. Storm Spirit finished up on Bubbles, as now Artesia is going to be working on one, it looks like, with a Neophytes book. Could, of course, be something else. Can't wait until Lightbrand is implemented into the game to see how people make use of those new items, the Searing Light and the Frozen Light and the Dawnbringer and the Lightbrand and the Grim War of Power, in which one of those actually make it into builds and which are like, well, that's not very good. Hammerstorm picks up an Axe of the Malphite, 25 additional strength on him, so he's going to be working toward the Symbol of Rage, I would assume. Only about 300 gold away at this point. And that's going to be pretty damned good for keeping him alive in the middle of those team fights. He could, of course, be going for that Behemoth's Heart as well. If that were the case, he would be about another 1,500 gold away. Got to pick up that Beast Heart as well as the Pattern for 1,200. Triple stacked Ancients will be taken out once again as Hammerstorm makes his way up, and he's going to start wailing on these dragons. The Demonic, of course, very, very useful for keeping himself alive as well as reducing the armor of the dragons. You can see how much that Mighty Swing actually helps. Symbol of Rage is completed, but Hammerstorm actually a very effective farmer with that Mighty Swing. It is 60% splash as opposed to the 30-something% splash of the Rundax 40%. So even stronger than the Rundax by a factor of about 50%. Not bad, not bad. Dark Lady, of course, though, is starting to climb back up. 410 gold per minute. Still 70 behind the Hammerstorm, but closing the distance for sure. And the longer that the game goes, maybe the better chances of this Dark Lady able to get back in this. Guys, I see you all responding in chat right now as I'm trying to make sure that the stream can see it. It is on a 6-minute delay. So whenever I say something and you guys hear me say something, I won't see your responses for another 6 minutes after that. So if I need to know something right away, I'll generally ask it in chat. But I appreciate the enthusiasm anyway. Bound Eye counter warding going on here as Parasite is carrying that around once again. Hammerstorm had to drop that in order to pick up a Scroll of Town Portal. More stealing of the stacked jungle camps, stacked ancients, everything like that. That's really the story of this game. Call It Karma has done a fantastic job of resource managing their opponent. Whenever there's a stacked ancients over here, about 50% of the time, it seems like it goes toward the enemy team. Consistently roaming through the jungle, of course, with most of the outer towers down, all the outer towers down in the southern part of this map. And with that, they're just the Hellborn team has free reign to get in there and farm the enemy team's jungle. So I like that quite a bit. Top tower very close to being able to be denied. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hellborn team just makes their way over there and backdoors that one down at some point here soon. They're waiting for Kongor to come up. That's what they're doing right now. They want to be able to get the token and the bananas so that when they go into the next fight, they will have the best chances possible. Parasite is now invis. Of course, Magnus has the bound eye still. He has picked up a blessed orb as well. And I would expect that he's turning that into a sheep stick at some point in the future. It's quite a ways off still, but would be a very nice item to have, most certainly. Dark Lady on 4,000 gold as well, so they might be looking to pick something up. Deja Vu activated onto a Luna. They're going to initiate right here as the Emerald Lightning comes in, a double Lava Surge there onto an Illusion as well as Hammerstorm. Hammerstorm activates that Shrunken Head. He's going to have a man fight with Dark Lady, activating his ultimate. And he's just going to hit that Symbol of Rage, and down Dark Lady's life is going to be going. The Plague is out and bouncing around as Magnus is in the middle. He's going to get locked down, though, as he's going to fall. The Hammerstorm comes out, and he will take the fall. Kelp Field being applied onto Plague Rider now, but he takes so much damage, not going to be able to get out of there. 3 players down. Dark Lady and Valkyrie, the only ones left. Luna, of course, did get cleaned up by Parasite in the middle of that team fight. And with the melee barracks exposed, there are no buybacks available for any of the down members on the team. And with Dark Lady's Shrunken Head being down for another 30 seconds, this should be a free barracks for Call It Karma. Actually, Valkyrie going to be in a little bit of trouble as the Hellflower is applied, as well as in comes the Hammer Throw. But the Hellborn team chooses to back up, knowing that Kongor is up. Go take that one out, grab the Token of Life, grab the bananas, and then force it back up the middle or the top. They could very well close this game out. 20,000 gold and experience advantage now for the Hellborn team. Call It Karma looking very, very strong, and looks like they might be able to close it out, take it in the 2-0 series, and they would be going on to face FYKU in the grand finals of the gold division for Cycle 1 here tomorrow. That'll be cast by HoNcast, certainly, but before we get too ahead of ourselves, we still have this game, and I just saw a Shrunken Head being picked up by Bubbles. I believe I was talking with Bryce a little while ago, maybe last week, maybe earlier this week, and saying that I don't know that I've ever seen a Shrunken Head be picked up by Bubbles, but damn if he did not just pick one up there. The Jellyfish is now going to be an invulnerable turtle in more ways than one, and that'll certainly be nice for him. Bubbles hops on in there, grabs a little bit more farm, but he's already looking like a very farmed turtle. No, he's only 279 GPM. I guess this game has just gone pretty late, and he chose to only pick up that portal key and then the Storm Spirit. Bananas are transferred here onto Parasite, as they were initially picked up by Artesia, but then quickly swapped off. She has finished up that Storm Spirit of her own, so a couple of ways to save the Hammerstorm if he does get initiated on in an unkind way. Parasite, he's been buying a lot of bound eyes. He's got 3,000 gold saved up, so just hanging on to that buyback for the time being. Dark Lady now sitting on 5,400 gold. I tell you what, I feel like she needs to buy a Doombringer. No, she went with the Savage Mage. She manned down. I felt like she needed to buy a Doombringer, because if she dies, the game's over. You might as well go all in and get the Doombringer to be able to provide that additional damage, because if she dies, the game's over. You get one shot, you get one chance to go. This opportunity comes once in a game time. Okay, that was terrible. That was absolutely awful, guys. I apologize for that. I think I might need to actually write a formal written apology to everyone watching right now. The tower goes down very, very quickly. Is in the top lane. They're looking like they want to make something happen. Hammerstorm, of course, sitting in the front lines, looking super tanky. Arrow goes out onto Parasite, hits it with 5 seconds, but what's the point of even throwing the arrow if when you get the 5 seconds on a hero that you want it on, you still don't initiate? I would have saved onto the arrow a little bit longer and used it in the upcoming team fight rather than trying to hit somebody with it like that. But I guess that's a harassment. Sure. Both teams just kind of posturing. The Hellborn team knows that as long as they keep the Legion occupied up here, they will be taking a lot of damage in forms of the huts down here. Oh, but no, Magnus initiates with a big eruption. Lava Surge hitting 2 people right there. And down goes Glacius. Plague Rider going to get counter-initiated on by Hammerstorm. Parasite going to fall as well, as Dark Lady and Hammerstorm now are having a man fight. Hammerstorm looks like he's going to be winning that one, but a Lava Surge comes back in. Now Hammerstorm might be getting the worst of it. Bubbles uses the Storm Spirit as he's going to be attacking with the Valkyrie. The Token of Life is activated, and Hammerstorm comes back up. A 2-second stun with the Red Emerald Lightning. A Lava Surge, and they might be able to man up on the Hammerstorm and finish him off here. The Hammer Throw comes out, only hitting Valkyrie though, and Hammerstorm could be dying. Could this be the start of a turnaround? Actually, Parasite comes back in. He's going to try to finish off. No! Parasite buys back, comes back in, and he falls. Dark Lady picks that one up, and that's a genocide. Look at the swing. That was a 25,000 experience lead, down to less than 10,000 now. Dark Lady getting big. Oh my god, what the hell? Call it karma? They're suddenly trying to turn this around. They're only down 1 Rax, and perhaps the great initiation there by means of the Eruption Lava Surge combination from Magnus, the follow-up by the Shrunken-Headed Dark Lady, able to get huge amounts of work done. They were able to do a great job of kiting that Hammerstorm and cycling him through everyone. Valkyrie, of course, did finish the Savage Mace going into that team fight. But wow, oh wow, oh wow. Could Duel really be making a comeback here? Is it possible? Hammerstorm's really the only one super farmed for the Hellborn team. Everybody else just kind of has shrunken heads. There's not a ton of damage coming out. Parasite doesn't have something like a Codex. He's got the Hellflower, but he's been buying Bound Eyes. He's been saving for buybacks. He doesn't have any more money left. He's not going to be able to finish up a new item at any point close to now. Magnus is getting Magnus is getting relatively close to finishing up that Sheep Stick, and of course, Dark Lady with an additional 3,000 gold close to it. Getting close, and a Firebrand already picked up by Valkyrie, so she's going to be making her way towards a Geometer's Bane. It's funny, this is a very, very similar build to what I use when I play my Valkyrie. I like it. Bip. You get a seal of approval in my book. Hammerstorm finishes up Rift Shards 3. He just like right-clicked Rift Shards 3. He's like, what's up? Critting for 615 there without his Brute Strength activated. I would not be happy to see the person that does get hit by the Brute Strength crit Hammerstorm, as he does have enough money for that Rift Shards 4 and another 10 gold. We'll see if they wait to actually buy that one before getting back into it. It's crazy, 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 crazy that the Legion was able to win that Rift Shards 4 completed, but that was with a token and a bananas that they were able to take that team fight. The Hellborn team, I mean, they're going to be more careful in the future, but they do not have the late game team. Duel does have the late game team with the Magnus, the Valkyrie, and the Dark Lady. Oh man, oh man. I really think that Duel might be able to make a comeback here. They're going to need to play it safe. They're going to need to play it slow, of course. But at 50 minutes into the game, the Hellborn team does not look nearly as strong as it did maybe 15 minutes ago. Magnus is doing his best to try to finish off farming that Sheep Stick. Choosing to back up, though, as they see a couple players might be making their way in. I believe this is the 4th or maybe even 5th eye that Parasite has picked up, because I can't find the hero on my map. Why can't I find the hero? Am I blind? Okay, I'm going to click on his portrait. There he is. Yeah, 4th or 5th Bound Eye that Parasite has now picked up. He's spent a lot of money on that, which is unfortunate, because you want to be able to hold on to that one, exchange Bound Eyes, rather than having to continually rebuy them. Oh, Valkyrie in a little bit of trouble there. The Hammer Throat does come out, as well as a crit of 691 onto something or another. With the Bound Eye that Parasite's carrying, gets a little bit of counterwarding done once again. So, the Hellborn team should know that Hammerstorm does not have enough money to buy back. Of course, finishing up those Rift Shards and continuing to manage their opponent's resources. They're getting their gold lead back up to where it was in the 20,000 range, sitting at 17.5 now. But if they can lock down the Hammerstorm before he's able to get his Shrunken Head off, before he's able to get that Symbol of Rage off, Could be very good initiation here for the Duel team. Artesia in the front lines using those arcane bolts. As an arrow is going to come out, going to make contact with nothing as it disappears into thin air. I've always been interested why that why the arrow just disappears rather than maybe like falling to the ground or something. But fall to the ground, disappear. It's not going to hit anything. That's all that's important right now. Dark Lady continuing to just get her farm up. She's at 4,400, has money for a buyback, and a buyback available if needed. Dark Lady continues to get that farm though. 445 creep kills. Holy guacamole! That is that 450. Okay, that's a lot. That's like 9 creep kills a minute for 50 minutes. Wow. Valkyrie grabs the deny as the push is coming in here for the Hellborn team. One Hell Cannon working on each of these racks as they're trying to push it back, but losing that already. You can see him scouting for Magnus. They do find him with that Arcane Bolt, doing a little bit of seeking action. Parasite comes in, activating the Hellflower. In comes the Hammerstorm that activates the Brute Strength. And down goes Dark Lady. Blegu bouncing around. Parasite may be in a little bit of trouble, though. Down goes Plague Rider. Down goes Aluna as well. Valkyrie standing in the middle. She's in some trouble, and she will fall as well. Magnus and Dark Lady do buy back as well as Valkyrie. They're going to try to come back in. Hammerstorm may be in a little bit of trouble as Dark Lady's going to come in. He's going to turn on those Dark Blades onto the Jellyfish. He will be using that Shell Surf to try to get out of there. Uses the Portal Key instead. Hammerstorm still having a man fight with Dark Lady, trying to bring her down. Will he be able to, though? He needs one more anything. Like, team! Where's the team? Parasite comes back in, the Hellflower, and down goes Valkyrie once again. And I think that should do it. Magnus and Dark Lady are still there, and Magnus, if he can get the world's most perfect stun followed up by a Dark Blade's charging strike from the Dark Lady, maybe they can hold it off. But as you can see, Chuck64 noting the crits were gigantic from Hammerstorm in that fight. And, oof, man, oh man, the racks do fall though. And with that, they'll be able to just back off. Congo will be back up in the next couple of minutes, be able to bring for a 4th time, gets another token, maybe some bananas as well on one of their players, and then they should be able to finish it off. 2 racks down, you're getting into range of very, very hard territory to actually defend for any length of time, and of course your farming potential is extremely limited at this point. Dark Lady picks up a Soul's Bulwark after buying back for the 2nd time. Magnus, of course, has bought back for the 2nd time as well, and he's either broke as a joke, or actually they're going to catch out Bubbles right here. The Lava Surge as well as the Take Cover being used, and with the Shell Surf, he's going to be able to get on out of there no problem. So Magnus, I think he actually is just broke as a joke after using that buyback and dying a couple times. So not going to be finishing that Sheepstick at any time soon, as once again Kongor is being attempted by the Hellborn team. Hammerstorm just standing in front saying, I literally don't even care about you, you stupid monkey. Crits him in the face for 728, and gonna just keep wailing away. Keeps the life up nice and high because of that Symbol of Rage. Hammerstorm rebuys his Shrunken Head there, and he's not even gonna pick up the Aegis, the Token of Life that is, as the Shrunken Head will be flown out to him. That's gonna be a 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, this Hammerstorm's probably gonna kill 2 or 3 people. Like, maybe more. Maybe more, but they're gonna they're gonna do it. And Duel calls for the Alamo. They're gonna make their last stand and try to make something happen here. But I think Duel has pretty much resigned to their fate at this point. We'll see though which team will be able to get the proper initiation. If Magnus is able to get a great initiation off, they oh god. Really? Really? You're gonna pause now? That's so unfortunate that Magnus just crashed right there, because that's going to be a lot of damage on this tower that they might not have had otherwise, and so unfortunate for Casualist, but nope, it's even. Sorry, this might be a little bad-mannered of me, but they're having fun at this point. Yeah, Yeah, the Legion team, they're going to try their hardest to actually make something happen here. But we shall see if they're able to get it happening. Of course, Casualist on the Magnus will be very, very integral to making that happen. If he's able to get off a large Eruption Lava Surge combo like he was able to in the top lane fight, well, then they very well may be able to take another team fight here. Of course, they don't have buybacks available on anyone. So what you see is what you get. And they're, of course, going to have to deal with 2 lives on Parasite. Actually, 2 lives on Artesia. Wow, they gave it to Artesia. 268 GPM Artesia. Looking like she has an Aegis. So, yeah, it's going to be on Artesia. And then the bananas are, of course, on Parasite. We'll see if they do a banana transfer at some point here. Casualist reconnects. We'll see if we can get this party started. Hammerstorm leading the way. He does have money for a buyback. He might even have money for a buyback plus an upgrade into post haste. And here we go. We'll see which team goes for the initiation first. It's Hammerstorm still leading the charge. Activates the brute strength. The Taint Soul going to come out as well as the power throw. They're going to try to start working on him. A couple of procs on the Savage Mace, and he's already at about 60% life. In they come onto the Dark Lady. The Hellfire being applied, and Dark Lady will fall. She's not going to be coming back up. One shots the Aluna right there. Going to turn his attention to Valkyrie now. Where are the crits? Where are the crits? Where are the crits? Oh, the portal key, and brings down the Valkyrie. Smacks the wings right off of her, and it looks like Call It Karma will bring this one home. 2-0, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to be going on to face FYKU in the grand finals of coLcast tomorrow by HoNcast and bring home that, well, see who brings home the $1,000 first place as well as 1,000 points toward the HoN Tour grand finals offline. But damn, this was a nice series. Call It Karma looked very strong. Look for both of these teams when they do progress into the Diamond Division. They will, of course, be seeded into that next time. Call It Karma, Duel. We also have FYKU and one other team that I can literally never remember that has made it into Diamond. But look for them. We'll be casting more of them, of course, next season in Diamond. But guys, that does it for my Gold League coverage here from HoN Tour. That's it. The next game is the Grand Finals, which will be covered by HoNcast. I'll, of course, be back with more Gold League next cycle. But before that, I'll be back tomorrow. Going to be covering more HoN Tour action all weekend. And I have to thank each and every one of you guys for actually being here and sticking it out. I'm sorry about the internet disconnect. That's really unfortunate, and I really apologize. I'm going to try to get an ISP technician out tonight to maybe look at something to make sure that my internet does not drop for tomorrow. But guys, huge shout-outs for being here. Huge shout-outs for sticking with me all week as we have covered quite a few games. So let's update that scoreboard. 2-0 in favor of Call It Karma. Congrats to them. I look forward to watching their games in the Gold Grand Finals against FYKU. Of course, if you missed any of this week's games, go ahead and move on down to the, this is actually, why does that say Reccar Room? That's Testy's account. Sorry, distracted. If you missed any of this week's game, make your way down below into the info section. Check out the VOD section of the info section. Click on the links to the picture that says Tourney Scrims or Tourney VODs or Scrim VODs. For whichever you're looking for, of course, all the HoN Tour matches under Tourney VODs at youtube.com/beefpotpie1. Click on that and it'll take you right there. We got about 15 series in the last week and a half that have been uploaded, all in playlist format. So make sure to check that out. And guys, of course, huge shout outs to Complexity Gaming for making this happen, providing me with the opportunity to cast for you each and every single day. Make sure to give them love by going over to ComplexityGaming.com, where I did have a write-up that I just posted today regarding Complexity's performance in the last week for HoN Tour. And of course, looking forward to HoN Tour this weekend. Complexity Gaming is having coverage for HoN Tour on the front page every time that Complexity is playing. So check that out, of course, at Facebook.com/ComplexityGaming as well, and Twitter at Complexity Live. Easy links in the Complexity section of the info below. And while you're over at Twitter, make sure to follow me at BeefPotPie1. That's where you're going to get all your information for Complexity HoN and wherever we go live at Complexity Casting. But guys, that is out. One more final shout out to the Complexity sponsors. That's QPad, PNY, Origin, Sound Blaster, Creative. Also make sure to check out Creative, the Sound Blaster Heroes League. That's there's information all over the HoN forums about that one. Gonna have the first qualifiers coming up here relatively soon. I actually want to say that they're going on this weekend as well, so I got to get the schedule for that and see if I'm casting any of those. But that's gonna be awesome. And of course, last but not least, to S2 Games for putting on HoN Tour and allowing me to be here to cast these games. Guys, thank you very much. I am out for now. Make sure to go check that out over at ComplexityGaming.com. And of course, make sure to follow here, twitch.tv/ComplexityHoN. I'm out. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 o'clock p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. And of course, that's 6 o'clock p.m. for Central European Time. We will be back with more HoN Tour action. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.